You got to love to hate her. Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative in Georgia, has been swatted 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, all within days of each other. We're going to talk about that next on the show. Welcome to the Matt Logan Show. Have you ever been swatted?
Probably not the same that this article is referring to.
Do you know what swatted means?
My understanding is it's basically a prank call that says that there's basically a major emergency to get police to go to a house, but there's nothing there.
Correct. Do you know what the intent is behind swatting?
Some type of disruption, mess with people's lives.
It is literally meant as an assassination attempt.
Oh.
The goal behind swatting historically has been that they call this not just an emergency, but they call in some sort of death and people with weapons that they've either already harmed somebody or they're going to harm somebody, so that the SWAT team goes in essentially guns blazing.
Yep.
And they want to catch people off guard, and so that people are, in the middle of the night, they're sleeping and they wake up and they don't know what's going on, so they make a stupid move and they get shot by the FBI or the local enforcement SWAT team or whoever they called this in. That's the goal. Literally, that's the goal.
It's pretty messed up.
That's really messed up. Whether you like Marjorie Taylor Greene or not, this is a really messed up thing. Let's take a look at this too.
So it's kind of like attempted murder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. By the means of someone else.
Right. Kind of like
it's like hiring
third-hand cop by suicide by cop.
Yeah. Yeah. So Greene, a Republican, has recently made headlines with the introduction of the piece of legislation that would federally prohibit minors from getting so-called gender-affirming care, which includes sex change surgeries, transgender hormone therapies, and puberty blockers. So this is what happened. They supposedly have narrowed this down to an upset trans activist who has swatted her, making multiple false 911 calls, and has had this happen 3 times. The first swatting incident, officers were dispatched to Greene's residence in reference to a male who had been shot 5 times in a bathtub. The call came in from a veterans crisis line. As the details continued to be relayed, it was reported that the female was still in the residence and possibly had some children inside with her. So that's the call. Dangerous, dangerous game to play no matter what you think of another human being.
Right.
And this is the kind of stuff that an average idiot like myself says absolutely not. I'm not a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of the antics that she does. However, when I kind of looked at some of her record, and what she has stood up for is truly human people. Like, let's allow people to be a human, and let's not, especially with this current legislation that she's introduced. It's like, man, this is some serious stuff going on, and we're not going to let little kids be abused like this.
Right.
And that's huge, in my opinion.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah. But this is what she does, right? And
Right.
and like I said, some of the antics that she used, I'm not a fan of. I've openly said that about Trump also. I have voted for Trump in one election. And, the other election, I wasn't actually able to vote. It ended up being I was gone that day unexpectedly. And so I wasn't able to do anything about that. But probably would have voted for him twice. I don't agree with everything his antics and every policy, but overall, let's look at the whole picture, right?
Right.
And with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm on the same playing field as what that is. obviously she has really made some people mad for this to happen.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't unexpected considering the topic.
Yeah.
That people are very emotional about it. But
you're gonna
justify
make a call like this. That is way over the top.
Right. And let's be clear that it's not everybody that disagrees with her. It's one or a handful of people that are to the extreme, that are pulling these things. And it hasn't just happened to her, obviously.
I won't bring this in. I'm going to make mention of it just for the fact that it's these kinds of things are tied together. But Antifa was in Texas this past weekend for a trans pride thing. I can't remember what it was called, but they're in there with the AR-15s on the street.
Legal in Texas.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. They're just saying this is what they are. They're completely masked. No identification of any kind.
Yep.
And they're calling for people to take up arms. And so it goes a little bit beyond the one that you're saying is the point.
Right.
And what we had in 2020 I was literally in Portland and drove by some of the places that Antifa was accused of destroying and burning and all these other things. It was terrible. Seattle, same thing. So we as a society have to stand up and say, no, this can't happen. No matter left or right or middle or upside down or whatever it is, this kind of crap, no.
Right. And let me clarify what my intentions of that comment were. It's not everybody that's on the left acts like this. It's a small percentage of people.
No, right.
Just like,
but people on the right, a
just
small
like
percentage.
Everybody, right. Not everybody on the right's a racist. Not everybody on the right is a white supremacist. That's my point.
Very few.
Exactly.
And there are the same on the left.
Yes.
It's extremists.
Right.
And that's
Correct.
the reality.
Yeah. And that was the point I was trying to make. But whether you disagree with somebody or agree with them, this isn't the way to go about getting your voice heard.
Right.
At all. Like this is death penalty stuff.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Hand for hand, eye for an eye.
This is evil. I've talked about there is a difference there, and it does exist between just having an opinion and trying to show why your opinion is valid versus attacking somebody like this with the hope for sure to have them maimed or killed.
Right. It's like bombing an abortion clinic. That's
Yes.
not acceptable.
No.
There's better ways to get your point across.
Right.
Yeah.
Violence in any fashion with anything other than defense of yourself and your family is unacceptable.
Correct.
And now this is defense of herself and her family. And there should be no stops.
No.
Every stop should be taken out. And this person or people who have done this makes me mad.
Yeah. Whether you agree with the legislator or not, okay. But
if this
what
was,
about the rest of her family?
Right.
Does she have children in the house? Her husband?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know those details.
I don't either.
And so, but when someone makes a stand like she has on many issues, sure, go and get in her face if you have a different opinion and say, I have a different opinion,
right.
And share what that opinion is and show why your opinion is valid. But when you have to resort to things like this, that means your opinion probably isn't valid, in my opinion. And let me keep saying this. I have made multiple offers for two people who have, I'm just a dude doing this. I made the decision to do this, period. And I've had people that could very easily sit across from the table just like you are and have a discussion with me. I've invited them to do it. And they have publicly laughed and think that it's funny that they've said no. That's on them.
Yep.
This person that attacked by the means of the police and the SWAT team, that is on them, not on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yep. You want your voice
There's my rant.
You want your voice heard, come and sit across the table.
Yeah. I'm not going to invite people like I did before, because that just has proven to be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I've openly discussed what my opinions are, and I get it. It's my opinion. I'm not saying this should be policy. I'm not saying my religion should be the way that this is run or that is run. I'm not saying that, I've said this before on the show, just because I'm wrong doesn't make you right. And that's the big difference.
Yeah.
There's nuance. There's things that we can explore. When you make visceral statements like she does, it's going to get people emotional. I get that.
She's going to get some pushback.
For sure. And that's okay. As long as it's legitimate words, opinions, perspectives, pushback. Go for
Respectful disagreement. Or disrespectful disagreement, but not physical.
Yeah. No, that's got to stop. It's too much, too far.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. My rant, sorry. This makes me mad, though. It really does.
Because sooner or later, somebody's gonna be taken out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that's the intention. Yeah. But this is gonna go bad quickly.
Yeah. Because this is a serious thing, because these types of things and people being shot 5 times in the bathtub actually happens.
Right.
So the police, I'm not saying the law enforcement, I don't know the details, and I didn't look into those details. I'm not saying the law enforcement the first time didn't do the right thing. Right. I want to make that clear.
Right.
I don't know if they did the right thing. I'm not saying that they did or didn't. I'm saying that they have to take it seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to go in at 1 a.m, an hour after they get the call or whatever it is, to get the SWAT team there to the residence.
Adrenaline is flowing.
They have to go do that. I understand that.
Right.
But 3 times in days?
And then you're pulling the law enforcement away from doing their
real
job.
Things.
The real emergencies.
Yes.
What if it's your family that actually needed them?
Yes.
But they were called away on a prank.
Yes.
On a bomb threat.
Yes. This isn't the old days of calling up on a landline and saying, "Hey, is your refrigerator running? Right. You better go catch it." I mean, come on. This is
people's lives are at stake.
People's.
And so what happens if law enforcement does pull the trigger?
Yeah.
Then that officer has to live with that the rest of their life.
Exactly.
And it was all, it's just bad all around. There's better ways to go about getting your point heard.
For sure. We have a Constitution, and the Constitution says you can talk.
Absolutely.
And if you're talking and nobody wants to listen, well, maybe you better think about what you're talking about. Like me, nobody wants to listen. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm getting it out there.
Yeah.
I feel in a legitimate way.
But people are listening.
I know they are.
Yeah.
And that's good. I appreciate that. Yeah. We appreciate you. Hammer the share, hammer the like, hammer out a comment. Ask Matt at MattLoganSpeaks.com. Whoops, get that in there. And maybe your question or comment or suggestion or snide remark might be in the next episode. See you next time.